And I want to talk about this for a moment. I'm joined by Vikrant Gupta and Nikhil Nas from our award-winning Sports Bureau. They've been looking at this whole Virat problem very, very closely, and it's still unfolding. Remember, it's not a static story. It's constantly moving. Vikrant, what are you making of this? You know, has the axe kind of fallen on, a Virat Kohli whose form has been depleting visibly over the months?
He hasn't been rested. He's not been dropped. He's decided to rest himself.
Yeah.
I think that's how I would put it. The BCCI or the selectors didn't want to rest him. They didn't want to drop him either. But what he's done is that he's decided to take rest. And I'm told that the selectors, the team management tried to convince him into playing in the West Indies T20s. He had a niggle, but he's playing the ODI today, which means that the niggle was just for a day, which means that fitness is not an issue. But I think maybe Virat admits now that he needs mental rest. He admits now that for all the shortcomings in his batting technique, they are just a temporary phase. If he's mentally fit, if he's eager, he'll perform. But I think the team management has also told him the true picture. They've given him the true picture. Now that you're not going to the West Indies and that you've decided to come back in the Asia Cup just before the World Cup, things may not be entirely in your own hands. This selection for the World Cup, that is.
Rested or dropped, Nikhil, how are you seeing this?
Well, he's asked for rest, that's confirmed. But I think what Sourav Ganguly said today, Shiv, and I think that is the first time there has been an admission on the part of the BCCI that yes, his form is a concern. Up until now, it was this one big elephant in the room that no one spoke about. It was only at the periphery, people were talking whether he deserves to be in the team or not. For the very first time, the BCCI president, if you read the entire statement, has come out and said that yes, there is a problem with his form. And the other important bit is where he says he needs to find a way of how to get back into form. Now, there are two schools of thought as to which is the best way for him to get back to form. Some suggest, as we pointed out in that package earlier, that maybe he needs to play a lot of cricket, but there are those as well. There are a lot of former cricketers that believe maybe he's overcooked, maybe he needs some time off, and I think that decision has been taken by Virat that he needs some time off to get back into form.
And there's been a lot of commentary and talk over the propriety of when certain cricketers choose to take their rest, etc. But Vikrant, if I could draw you in on why in your view is Virat not being able to score anymore, because that's the main thing that's on everyone's mind.
Well, it's the mental. It could be the mental strain, Shiv. Go back in time. John Bogg, one of the greatest tennis players of all times. He just decided to go away in his 20s. I remember a former Australian captain, Kim Hughes, a cricketer, he cried off a press conference. He never could be seen again. I mean, in modern day cricket where there's this social media and you're the star, there could be mental strain because T20s is what has magnified Virat's struggle. Yes, for the last 3 years, he's not scored runs in Test cricket. Had it been any other batsman, he would have been dropped. Because you did consider dropping Pujara, you did consider dropping Ajinkya Rahane, but because it is Virat who's got a pedigree, who's got those many runs behind his back, nobody has been able to touch him. But I think in this format, after the Dubai loss, India could have altered their game plan. They decided not to. There are a few youngsters, Nikhil would agree with me, if Deepak Hooda uses the 8 games in West Indies, or if Shreyas Iyer uses the 8 games in West Indies, Dinesh Karthik, Rishabh Pant, Ishan Kishan, what do you do then? That is why I said now, yes, Virat can come back. What's in his control? He can get runs in the Asia Cup, which will not be easy. If you're playing the Asia Cup in Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, those pitches are not good for batting. And that is in his hand. What is a concern for him and what is not in his control is the fact that there could be others, youngsters, pushing for that slot.
Nikhil, you want to add to that?
Oh, yeah, just about why he may not be scoring runs, as, Vikrant pointed out, that yes, there have been some stalwarts in the past who, found it going very tough. Maybe there are mental issues with them. But, there is one reality I think we may have to face up to it. Because of the lofty standards that Virat Kohli set, and I'm only going to quote a few experts. I know experts is a word that the Indian captain doesn't really like, is not very fond of. But I will quote a few experts, former players, who pointed out a few technical issues. So for all you know, he does get runs. For all you know, he gets the run in the ODI that he's going to be playing now. But will you see those same lofty standards that Virat Kohli set for himself? If you were to ask experts, if the people who will be looking at his game technically, maybe not. He may get runs, but not at that rate that he was getting earlier. And then maybe there would be a call taken by the ones who run the BCCI, whether he fits into all formats. For all you know, he may decide not to continue playing all formats. But yes, I think after the T20 World Cup, a call would be taken because he's not going to be as prolific as we saw the best of Virat a few years ago.
And batting can be very easy, batting can be very difficult. I mean, you watch a batsman, Virat Kohli of old, and any youngster, when you look at him, you would say, oh, the batting appears so easy. Here he's on the front foot, here he is on the back foot. And confidence is, other than the skill that you have, confidence is what defines a cricketer. I think now you watch him play, it is the lack of self-belief.
You know, there's I'm always reminded of this cliche, you know, form is temporary, class is permanent. Does that apply to Virat? I'll ask you first, Vikrant.
It does.
It does?
It applied to Joe Root. He did score runs. Now, you know, every second game he's getting 100. It can happen with Virat, but like Nikhil said, it may not happen at the same pace. It may not happen with the same kind of domination. I think everybody knows that a cricketer would have to leave one format at some stage. Whether or not this is the time or it'll happen after the World Cup, we don't know. But if Virat were to decide picking up two formats that he should continue playing, should be Test cricket and one-day cricket. And like I said, I think there are times, Shiv, when you overthink. When you are in your prime form, you think about just one ball at a time. I asked Sachin Tendulkar once, Paji, is there any day that you think you'll get runs? Yes. He said, yes, there are days when I wake up and there's a blank slate in front of me, which means there's no questions in my mind. I think Virat has a lot of questions. When he's batting, that self-belief is not there. Maybe he tends to think about his weaknesses more than his strength. The same Virat Kohli who once said, every game that I turn out to play, I think I cannot get out.
Well, let's just hope he gets
That was his strength.
Yeah, we can call it India's Virat problem, but we're all hoping that he gets his mojo back. That's Virat Kohli. Thanks very much, Nikhil and Vikrant, for joining me on this. It's an unfolding story. Like I said, the experts will continue to react and we will report all of them here on India Today. Vikrant and Nikhil will continue to report on this story. Thanks, guys.